I'm Rob X, and this is The-X-Planation.
Well, folks, it's time to kick it old school, so you can feel cool. Give it to me, baby.
The question of whether the jury would have came back with a different conclusion had they seen the dash cam tape of the Philando Castile shooting by Officer Geronimo Yanez. In my opinion, no, there would have been no difference because during that trial, they did, I believe, see at least the Facebook tape of Diamond as she broadcasted that incident live on Facebook at the night or on the night that it occurred. And I believe on that tape, it should have been clear that that police officer shot Philando Castile unjustifiable because it didn't show that he reached for his gun. He made mention of a gun. You clearly heard Diamond say, "Sir, he has a gun." He said, "I have a gun." She clearly told the police officer, "Sir, he has a permit." He let the police officer know he had a permit. Those things were heard on that tape. And as soon as that police officer found out that he had a weapon, he went into panic mode. And any movement from that point on that Philando Castile made, that police officer shot and killed Philando Castile without provocation. It is my opinion that, again, the tape would have made no difference because in America, police officers are always right. And you have a jury that's comprised of folks who live in communities to where police officers come in and they're your friend. They help you. They help you get the cat out the tree. They investigate the burglary. They investigate your car break-in. And they make sure that, they assure you that they're going to do their best to prevent these things from happening. And so, those are the attitudes that the jurors have about police officers. And they have a different attitude and a different frame of mind when it comes to African American men in this country. First of all, we're all bullies, gangster robbers, and thieves. We don't abide by the law. They parade us day and night throughout mainstream media with handcuffs behind our back, usually being arrested for carjackings or drug activity or burglaries or shootings. And so that's the image that a lot of these jurors have in their mind about who black men are. And so when you couple that with the fact that that police officer allegedly stopped Philando Castile for having a broken taillight, for possibly fitting the description of a robbery that took place earlier, for when he approached the car smelling marijuana in the car, and last but not least, a black man with a gun. Police officer Yanez tried to, and probably did, convince the jury that because he smelled marijuana in the car, he felt like if Philando Castile had an indifference to smoking marijuana in front of his child in the car and possibly putting her life in danger, that he would have the same attitude about him as a police officer. So, of course, he formulated in his mind that if that's how you feel, then, my life must be in danger. But at the same time, he didn't have any human compassion for a baby, a youngster, being in the back of the car when he shot into that vehicle 7 times. Can you compare that to a person smoking marijuana in relation to police officers shooting into a car with a woman and a baby in that car 7 times? Any one of those bullets could have ricocheted at any time and struck that woman and struck that baby and killed them. No compassion for human life. He never even thought about that. You know, he just simply reacted to his own preconceived notions of who this person was. We teach our young men to comply. We teach our children to comply to, respect authority figures. And all you heard throughout that entire tape was um, Diamond saying, "Sir, sir, this, sir, that, no, sir, yes, sir," in a very calm, collected voice. She even said, "I can't believe that you just shot my boyfriend." She said that in a very calm, collected voice. I think any one of us would have panicked at that point and been outraged at a situation like this. Can you imagine what was going through that young lady's mind when that happened? Can you imagine how that will traumatize her for the rest of her life? Can you imagine how that's going to traumatize that young child watching her father get shot in his car? She was 4 years old. She's going to remember that. But yet again, that police officer had no respect and disregard for all of that, because all he seen was a black man, and all he heard was a possibility of a gun. Gun was never pointed at him. There was never no overt motion by Philando Castile to hurt him. There was never no anything, and we saw it on the tape, that would give that police officer any indication that Philando Castile was trying to hurt him. There was even another police officer at the scene who never even drew his pistol. And so how can you feel like your life is in danger if your partner doesn't even feel like your life is in danger or his life is in danger? But yet and still, we have a jury that comes back with an acquittal for a police officer who kills a man in cold blood in front of his family. And just because he has a uniform and a badge on, he gets to walk away free. My other question is, where is the NRA on this? Card carrying, weapons holder people who continually preach that we need to arm ourselves and we need to be legal in terms of the way we do it. Where are they? Where are the mothers in charge who continually march about the violence that have occurred in their communities and how their sons and daughters have been viciously killed? Where are those people? Where are the Black Lives Matter folk who claim to march for the justice of the black man and black people in America? Where are the All Lives Matter people who claim to say it is just not about black lives, it's about all lives? Where are all these people? Where are they? Nobody is stepping up. Nobody is stepping out. Nobody is outraged about any of this. It's just a situation where it is so commonplace now that it is the way it is. And nobody is even challenging any of this at all. There should be an inquiry about that prosecution's office, the district attorney, the way they select jurors, the captain of that police department, how that police department is being trained. The Department of Justice needs to come in and take an overall look at that. Oh, but of course, that's not going to happen. Why? Because look who we have running the Department of Justice now. Good old Jeff Sessions, who could care less about African American men being shot by police officers. And so we all know that that's not going to happen. And so we live in a perilous situation these days to where, as including myself as an African American man, I don't know when the next time I'm going to be stopped by the cops, and when it does, I'm going to be terrified. I'm going to tell you that right now because I don't know how it's going to go. Because, you know, you comply, you get shot. You act crazy, you get shot. You say too much, you get shot. You don't say anything, you get shot. So what's the difference? Something has to stop. Something has to, change the way that these situations continually occur. And I'm going to tell you what that something is. We in the criminal justice system in this country have to be real about how we look at these situations and start to convict, send these police officers to jail, and have them do some serious time. And I'm not talking about 3 to 5 years or probation or a slap on the wrist. I'm talking about having police officers do 30 to 50 years, 50 years to life, life in prison, and maybe in some cases the death penalty for killing people. Because you best bet if that were you and I, or I, and we kill a police officer, in most states we're getting the death penalty for that. If we kill anybody, we're definitely getting 25 to life. But because these guys wear a badge and a blue uniform, they get put up on a pedestal and they get the right to kill men of color. That's not right. It's just simply not right. And what it all boils down to is race. As much as we try to figure this whole can't we all get along crap in this country, it's just not happening. And the climate these days is just that much worse. It's about race. When it comes to African Americans and the fair treatment of us in this country, it is going backwards. We had finally got to a point where it was kind of moving forward. It wasn't quite there yet. But now we're moving backwards. And I'm afraid that if it continues to move in this direction, there are going to be some horrific consequences of which this country is not going to be able to handle. I've been pretty much right on all of this stuff regarding criminal justice, the police, the killing of black men, and how these things have been going. I don't think I'm too off on this one. Better stand up, look out, and think about what's going to happen if we don't make some corrections. This is Rob X, and this is The X-Planation.